Hello, everybody. I'm so glad you guys are here with me tonight. And tonight we're going to be talking about energetic cords. I know I'm going on just a little bit late. I don't know if the camera is quite as good. I can't wait for our new upgrade. For Christmas, we're going to be getting some upgraded equipment, but that's okay. For today, it is good enough to teach this beautiful lesson. So tonight I decided to teach. I went from TikTok over to our YouTube channel, and we're also streaming onto our Facebook. So hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Let's do some meet and greets for the One Tribe around the world. If you're just finding me, I'm really excited to be here with you, and I am one of the leaders of the One Tribe. And I want to say hello to everybody around the world, in the United States, Canada, Australia, and all of the UK, including South America and Africa. We have followers for the One Tribe all over. Everybody's liking to say hello to everybody. We have so many of our beautiful angel moderators in this group tonight, and we just have so many in the One Tribe all together. We're just starting with our new One Tribe YouTube page, and we're picking up where we left off, so it's good to have you guys here. I enjoy it. I work full-time as a spiritual coach, teacher, and counselor, and it's wonderful to have a place where we can do all of our teachings and stream them so that you guys can watch in your own time zone. I know that me being in California, it's not really cohesive to everybody's timeline to teach at 9 o'clock. It's already 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock in different places around the world. So I'm really grateful to be able to teach here at this time and for you to be watching it later. So if you catch this live later, please make sure that you put in the comments where you're from and how long you've been watching the One Tribe, or if you're new to the whole spiritual collective. We would love to get a chance to know you and meet you, and we welcome everybody into the One Tribe. We are a collective of souls that have decided to go inward to find the truth of who we really are so that we can start to do our shadow work and heal ourselves. In doing so, we can raise our vibration, spiritually progress as a person, and also turn back to help others heal and progress. And through that, we also learn that we can together raise the vibration of the whole planet. And so that's what the One Tribe seeks to do, is be a spiritual family of love and support that is there guiding each other along the way. And I'm one of the many teachers of the One Tribe. We have done some pretty interesting subjects. We've actually taught on head coverings. That was our last week's topic. We do every Monday and every Friday. So today is our Mindful Monday broadcast. And then we have a Fabulous Friday broadcast as well. And we are going to continue that schedule. And then on the days that we're not teaching on YouTube, we're doing live spiritual messages, healings, and coachings from the Holy Spirit. And those are actually on our TikTok channel. Maggie says, a session with sunshine will change your life. Thank you so much. Julie said, we brought up a past life that really connects with my life now. It was pretty intense. Sandra says, hello, Dr. Sunshine Frost. Thank you. And for the teachings. Yes, I'm so grateful to be teaching. Hello, Miss Kelly. Thank you so much for being here, love. She is our One Tribe Australia and is actually my host family for when I'm going to be staying there. Her and Mr. Cam are One Tribe Australia representatives. Hello, Miss Laura. I'm getting Spirit Knows. Someone asked me to teach on Spirit Knows. I will teach on this, not tonight. We already have a topic, but if you get this really itchy, tickly, vibrating feeling like there's two feathers rummaging around in your nostrils, that is something that I call Spirit Knows. And it happens to me whenever the Holy Spirit or angels or even higher dimensional frequency of light beings are near us. They cause this thing called Spirit Knows. So you guys can see me getting it, which means we're going to have a great show. Allie G from Tucson. We are so happy. She's been in the One Tribe about 4 years. Yeah, Allie actually was at our baptism. We do baptisms every year. This year it's going to be in June in Sedona, Arizona. And people come from all over the world. I'm actually hoping to do a whole series in Australia this year. We're going to do some baptisms in Australia and work to purify ourselves and our own mission, and that the church is within us. And we talk about this so much, but that's what the Inner Temple Symposium is about. Every week we're going to be doing the Inner Temple. And that's going to be all about teaching and training the teachings of Christ and the teachings of so many ascended masters. But rather than the outward showing, we want to go inward. And so I'm going to be teaching on that, and that's going to be so much fun, and I'm really excited. So we have Michigan in the house tonight. Let me know where you're from. We have Australia. We have Massachusetts. We have Connecticut. And, of course, California. So tonight we're talking about One Tribe Follower, 5 years. Thank you, Miss Sandra. I don't know who our longest tribe member is tonight. I think maybe Miss Andrea might be on her 6th or 7th year with me. Pretty exciting to see where everything goes with us. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Tonight's topic is, oh my gosh, this energy is so intense. I am going to put our spirit pod behind us and then just ask Spirit, if you'd like to make contact, please do it back here, not right here. All right, everybody. I had Spirit Knows all morning in a meeting, and I already had to giggle because you taught me about it already. Yes, if people have ever done coachings with me, sessions with me, I do not call them readings. I do not read cards. I am not a psychic medium. I am a spiritual coach, counselor, and healer. And when Spirit comes around, I get the most itchy nose, and I did not plan this for my YouTube channel tonight. I did not plan this, but I know that that's what it is. So now when you acknowledge Spirit Knows, it happens, and that's just the way it is. Andrea says, yay, California, so glad to be here. All right, everybody, so make sure that you continue to heart, like, and love. If you go to the bottom, you can actually hit that heart and comment. We want to make sure the comments stay rolling at all times. So please make sure to join us on all of our channels. Monday is YouTube, then TikTok is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for now. Then we have Friday, YouTube, and then Sunday we have the Inner Temple. So Saturday is your day off to catch up, I guess, on rest and meditate. But for today, we're going to be talking about why do we need to cut energy cords, and do I have them? Let me tell you. Do you have energy? Yes. Do you have energy around you? Yes. Is everything around you energy? Yes. In fact, I took some notes on this that I left in the other room, so I'm going to just teach this off the cuff. We were taught in school that everything was a matter. We were taught that everything was matter. I know this because I remember, what is matter? Matter is a person. Matter is a place. Matter is a thing, kind of like a noun. Matter is this table. Matter is the chair. Matter is the water. Matter is the wall, the book, the box, the carpet. Everything is matter, right? Everything that's physical is matter. Do you guys remember learning about this? Miss Melissa, I'm so glad to be here. So matter was taught that it was a physical substance. Do you guys remember that, learning that matter was something that was physical? In fact, I remember them teaching us that this glass of water is matter, and molecules of water are moving so fast, and the table's moving so fast that you can't see it, but it creates a solid substance that we believe is solid. It all sounded like a bunch of nonsense, to be quite honest. And I know it's scientific, but the great thing is that quantum mechanics are beginning to prove the theory that actually they don't know what matter even is. They say that everything is matter, but they don't know what matter actually is. It turns out the father of quantum mechanics and quantum physics has actually stated that matter is really held together by a force. Thank you, Miss Melissa. And that the force is actually energy. Energy is the force that drives all matter. And to go back from that, we have to say, so we're going to go like this. Ready? We're just going to use some physical things to help us explain this concept. This is a person. We're just going to give him personhood. He doesn't have it right now, but we're going to give him personhood. He has a thought, a vision, or a thing. He creates a construct. It becomes matter. Matter is, and then the thought, he creates a thought form, and the thought form finally becomes matter. Okay? So these three things. First, we think it. If a man can conceive it, if he believes it, he can conceive it. And if he can conceive it, he can achieve it. All of these things are talking about thought forms. This is what The Secret taught on. This is what all of your self-help guru manifestation principles are built on is that your thoughts are actually a frequency, and the frequency is creating a thought form, and the thought form becomes physical, and the physical reality that we accept is the matter that is around us. Okay, so I know that's a little deep, but for today's lesson I wanted to just break it down a little bit. Thank you so much, Miss Andrea. Thank you, Miss Gracie, for joining us from Phoenix, Arizona. When you think about that, it doesn't seem like these would be thought forms, because this book is clearly a book. This book in front of me is not a thought form. It's a physical item. I can touch it, feel it, taste it, everything. It's physical, right? But for this to be physical, someone had to create it in their mind, conceive that they wanted to have a leather-bound book with locks on it and 7 chakra stones. They wanted it to be made out of beautiful leather-bound. Someone conceived this in their mind as an idea, which then became a thought form that they put into probably a blueprint or diagram. And then from that, it came into the physical world and became matter. Even right now, this book is held together with, paper. We have hemp paper, I believe, in here, some leather cordage. And even this book is a demonstration of something that we have thought about that has become a thought form that became a reality that is now in the physical matter. It is our belief. Everybody believes this is a book. Everybody believes a book sits on the shelf. Everybody believes that a book is for reading, for writing, for learning. Since we all accept that together, this became a book. If this construct had been that everything that looks like this was a firework, this would become a firework. And I know that sounds a little crazy, but that's just exactly what they're saying. That our thought forms can create one thing, but the collective consciousness that accepts it makes it reality for everybody, and the whole collective accepts that. Now, how does that affect energy, Sunshine? We don't understand. We're teaching about energy, but here you're talking about thought forms and matter. There is a point to this, so follow along. If you're following along with me, hashtag tap and say following along. So to let you know how this works, energy is this as if I was walking through a jungle. To say that there are no vines or leaves in the jungle is impossible. And essentially, everywhere we go in the world, hi, Joe Fox from Pennsylvania. Everywhere we go in the world, we are actually walking through an energetic jungle. So I want you to think of what would that look like to walk through an energetic jungle. Sandra, Laura, and Gracie said, I am following along, Sunshine. Thank you. When you think about this, think of the vines sweeping down, the tall plants creeping up from the floor, the spikes from certain types of trees, and even other trees that are reaching down, giving you all kinds of good energy, bad experiences, all kinds of things. If you walk through the rainforest, you're going to find a little of everything. And that's exactly what it's like to walk through the world energetically. Energetically, some people have spikes and they're dangerous to run into. They're hyper reactive, really, really inflamed pain bodies. You got to be careful what you say. You got to be careful how you look at them. They're very insecure about themselves. They're always kind of ready to explode if the circumstances are set up in a certain way that triggers them. These are those spiky plants we try to avoid in the real world, but especially energetically. Have any of you ever ran into someone, and I know we all have because it's part of the construct for learning, we've run into a situation where we said or did the wrong thing incidentally, meaning you didn't mean to, it was completely by mistake or accident, but this person overreacted to the point where you had to back away from them, and they continued to attack like a dog that came after your ankles. And even when backing away to your car, they don't want to let go. Have any of you ever been physically attacked, spiritually, emotionally, especially through the verbal, when someone's really abusive and they tell a lot of rumors and stories? They're really on the attack. This is exactly what it feels like. You don't even realize that you were stepping on this landmine, but here's this giant thorn going right up through your foot. That is walking through this energetic jungle and stepping on a spike plant or a spike tree. That's what it's like dealing with some of these energetic people. They really are so reactive and they're so unhealed and they're unaware of their own condition. They lack self-awareness, and every conversation turns into a battle, and the ego is always present, ready to flash its fangs, get the claws out, and ready to shred you up for even bringing up anything that is a weakness in them or something that they might not realize through their own lack of self-awareness. So that's a spike plant. Now we're going to talk about those other ones, the vines. They're like vines always hanging down in your way. You're like trying to get through them from one jungle to the other. You're just trying to move and they're wrapping around your legs, your feet. This is called the guilt attachment or narcissist, this guilt attachment narcissist. So they always want to guilt you into staying with them. I can't believe you're going to leave. I can't believe you're not going to love me back. Look at all I've done for you. How could you do this to me? This is a lot of parenting tactics. These are a lot of relationship styles. I mean, it's just so draining. They just want to wrap you up and keep you held down. Hello, Cam Buchanan. Thank you for joining us from Australia. He's one of our host family members for our Australia One Tribe. So Alicia says, yes. Oh my God, Sunshine. I don't normally say oh my God, but OMG, oh my gosh, yes. So the energetic vines in that jungle, which we're all living in, is those narcissistic personalities with a little bit of guilt in there. They like to pull you down and make you really feel uncomfortable with growing away from them. As I said, this can be a partner, a brother, sister, mother, father, even bosses can be like, I can't believe you would ever think about getting another job or a better paying job, or how would you leave us? I can't believe you would leave us. You know, these are thank you, Sherry, for the following along. I appreciate that. That's just recognizing that we are where we're at. And it's very important that these people you need to understand their job is to try to attach to your energy and keep you at their level. They don't want you to climb up. They don't want you to move forward. They want you to stay where they're at because they can kind of feed off of your energy. Moderators, can you please let everyone know in the mod chat that we are on YouTube at this time? Thank you so much. And for all of you that'll be listening to this podcast in the future, thank you for being here from around the world. A big thank you. So Sherry says, yeah, absolutely. So letting us know that everything in the world is energy. And we know that matter is energy. We know that thought forms that create the physical world or constructed reality around us is also energy. And then we realize that everything we're walking through daily is a jungle of energy. So we have good energies, like the beautiful flowers in the jungle. They're just, you don't even have to talk to them. You don't have to touch them. You can just behold one of those beautiful flowers and energetically recognize your spirit is being fed. This could be like a person with just a great energy. Someone that really just feeds you. You have great energy. They have a glow about them. This is someone that comes to deliver good energy to you. This can be a best friend. It can be a spouse, a child, a partner. It can be anybody, but this is just like a beautiful flower. And then in the jungle, we also have those little streams. So little streams of water that you just find when you're so parched and thirsty. And that's going to be people along the way that feed you. This can be a partner. It can be me. It can be a teacher, a coach. It can be somebody that you really love. Could be an author. Could be somebody that is even a priest or a religious person that you love or look up to. It could be an ascended master that you enjoy learning from because it feeds your soul and it gives back rather than taking energy from you. So remember that as we're walking in the energetic jungle, we have the spike plants, we have the vines attaching, we have these beautiful flowers that we all admire, and then we have these little streams that feed us. I want you to think of in your life who has been a stream for you. And as I said, it could be someone physically in your reality. It could be someone you looked up to, read their books, enjoyed who they were as a person. Could be your grandmother. Could have been your mother. Could have been any of these people. So why don't you tell me, and this is from the audience, who in your life has been a stream or a little water fountain in your life when you were in your jungle place? Joe Fox says, where are you broadcasting from? I'm broadcasting right out of Southern California. He said, I'm so glad you came on this time of the night. Melissa says, I went to New York City this weekend and so many strangers just walked up to me. My son was like, Mom, why do these people come up to you? I say, it's all spirit. And she would be right. Her energy is open and accepting. Laura Capello says, my mom is my stream. Is that correct? And Sherry Crenshaw says, my mom is my stream. What about some vines, some people that wrap around you? And this may not be in the current place, but it was in the past where you had a partner, a friend, a business partner, an ex, or somebody that you just felt like was wrapping around you and never really wanting to let you go. Alicia says, now let me know, are these your streams or are they your vines? Laura says, I love the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. So for me personally, I've had both streams and vines and spike plants. Without giving too much information away to anybody that personally watches me and knows me, I would say that my vines have been basically my own fears. It hasn't been a person necessarily, except for my first marriage was very dominant, controlling relationship with an alcoholic. So in that circumstance, it was definitely a vine. But I can say that the vines I had were mostly my own insecurities and looking for validation for someone to tell me that what I was going to be doing was what I should be doing. And I didn't really go to someone qualified to give me those answers. I would ask family and friends who were not as successful or accomplished as the person I had wanted to be. So I changed my advice to say that I never take advice from anyone that's not healthier, wealthier, or happier than I am. So that was something that I definitely learned from that. Melissa said I had a vine that thought he was a stream, but definitely turned out to be a spike. I love that, Miss Melissa. I think I'm going to give you the bell. That was probably the best comment. The teacher's bell. You just got the teacher's bell because that was a great comment. Alicia says, I totally agree. Grandbabies are the best. Alicia says, I love it. Thank you. Keep the comments scrolling, everybody. So when you have these vines, it can be a person. When you have these little flowers, my children are definitely my flowers. They just watching them bloom each day is such a beautiful experience. It gives me so much joy and it makes me want to be the stream that feeds them. So it just makes me so happy. Donna says, hello, beautiful lady. Hello. Cam loves it that we rang the bell. We love ringing the teacher's bell for wonderful comments. So make sure you guys stay up on your comments. So we've taught that everything is energy and that we're walking through a spiritual jungle all the time. Now, I want you to picture yourself walking through a wooded area and you come across cobwebs, and the cobwebs are literally everywhere. They're in every direction. You can't even turn without getting something around you. That is exactly what happens in the energy of a place wherever you're at. So you could be at the DMV, you could be at the doctor's office, you could be at a concert, wherever you're at. You need to recognize that if you're out in the outside open world, you're walking through cobwebs of energy. If you're in a relationship with anybody, you're walking through the jungle. One is something that you kind of took on and chose, so it's very solidified. And one is just the outward influence of people's energy as we walk through the world. Vine is definitely, fears are definitely vines, Miss Andrea says. And Ali G contributes, my Aunt Sonia, Sunshine, and Raina are my streams. Thank you so much. We love that. So think about that. What is the vines in your personal life? What are the flowers and what are the streams? Also, think about being out in public. A workplace is definitely the forest with the cobwebs. It can turn into vines if you start a personal relationship with somebody you work with, or you make spiritual commitments or agreements. But for today's topic, we're talking about why does energy attach to you and do you have to give it permission? The answer is yes, it can attach to you, and no, it does not need permission, but the attachment is weak. The attachment energetically is weak. Let's just say I myself am walking through a certain place and someone sees me and goes, oh my gosh, she's so pretty or whatever. And they admire me. Now, it's not that I'm so pretty because this could happen to anybody, but it may be the energy that I'm emanating that they're attracted to because maybe they're a lower frequency soul and to them, I look like a battery charger. To a lower vibrational soul or person, you that are of a high vibration who seem to have an emanation of peace and calm or an emanation of radiance and healing or joy and happiness, whatever it is you're radiating that's of a higher frequency, you're going to look like a bright ray of light. And people that are ready to ascend are going to be drawn to you. That's just how it is. If a person is not ready to ascend, not only will they not go towards you, they won't like you. Repeating this, people, especially women and men, will not like you. Women go through this daily. Another woman may not like you, and it has nothing to do with you. If you are a bright, positive light, you may very much overshadow and eclipse them and make them highly uncomfortable with your amount of light. So you overshadow them because they're standing in your shadow, which makes them insecure and makes them feel really small and uncomfortable. And they're afraid that whoever looks up to them or admires them may lose their following because this other more beautiful, bright light showed up. So this is important that we realize that sometimes it's not that we need to dim our lights for another person, but it's that we have to send vibrations. I come in peace. I am here to be your friend. Before we even step into a room, I come in peace. I come in peace. I come in peace. It's important if you're a bright light, if you're somebody that attracts a lot of attention, that you project, I come in peace. I shine the light for all. I love all beings, or something to that effect, that you're not there to take away, diminish, disturb, compete, or any of that, unless you truly are, and then be honest with yourself if that's what you're there to do. However, you will always catch more what flies with honey than with vinegar. And what I'm saying is that you can catch a lot more people through a loving atmosphere. Even if you're in a competition, people are going to go to what's authentic and sweet and real. And it really is important that you do present your energy in a proper way. So energy can attach to you. If you're walking through a room and people just admire you, the energy can attach itself to you. So how do we clear that? Well, there's a couple ways you can clear your energy every day. Melissa says, even when you're falling apart inside, just stay bright. Yeah, it's called the fake it till you make it principle. And I know a lot of people that say, oh, well, I don't feel good, so I'm not going to show it and be fake. Let me just let you know, if you run a business, if you are a mother, if you are married, anything that you do with a consistency, you will have to fake it. And if you don't, you're not going to keep the energy consistent enough to be manifesting your greatest dreams and desires. If every time things get bad, you crash, you're not going to keep the spiritual consistency that you need to manifest over a large period and over the higher scale things that you want to accomplish. So energetically, we realize that we're walking through a jungle. We're picking up energy everywhere. And yes, we can't help. People can attach negative energy and have evil eye. Don't you remember being in school and there was someone that just didn't like you? I think everybody has at least one hater in their life. This is someone that just, for no reason at all that you could ever distinguish, someone just did not like you. They would talk bad about you. They would give you the evil eye. They'd be super tense. They would make comments about you or to you, or worse, to everyone else. They just didn't like you. And it was like, you don't even know what you did. You just try to avoid the energy of this person. But if you walk into it, it's like hitting an ugly wall. Feels gross. You feel uncomfortable. Your heart may start pounding. That's all very common for energetic walls. And have you ever walked into a room where two people were just fighting? They're not fighting now, but you just walk in and you go, holy smokes. It's like you do not want to walk into that room because you can feel that resistant, energetic negativity that is just permeating the atmosphere, and you're walking into it. So tell me, audience, here and at home and into the future where your comments are going to be heard and seen, what do you think about those experiences? Have you ever sensed it when people talk about you? When someone didn't like you without a reason? Can you feel the density and heaviness in a room after people have been talking either about you and this conversation suddenly stops, or they had a disagreement and you're walking into it and it's very uncomfortable and tense? That is energy. That is 100% energetic. Yeah, you can feel the density. Julie says, Alicia says, absolutely. And Andrea says, yes. Yes, what, guys? Tell me some more. Melissa says, absolutely. I call it out and just stay true to yourself. Julie says, yes, it's awful. Have you guys ever had that date night with another couple who couldn't stop badgering each other, and the wife couldn't stop embarrassing her husband with comments, or the husband couldn't stop losing his temper, and you're just like, why are we here? Do you know that when one couple divorces, it gives a 60% increase to the other couple to divorce within 2 years, because energy is so powerful, a predictor of our behavior. What you watch, what you listen to, what you eat, and even how you speak has an effect on your future outcomes, because you're either aligning yourself toward a successful place or time in your life, or you're moving yourself toward high conflict, high stress, and situations that just don't serve your higher purpose. They're like recycling in the past. So energetically, we do have a choice about choosing a higher energy or a lower energy, and all of these things do matter. Andrea says, wow. Julie says, you can definitely feel your energy drop when you're in that environment. 100%, Miss Julie. Alicia says, I've walked into the room and caught the whole room talking about me. Yeah, that's incredible. That's sometimes very telltale about your energy. And Miss Melissa says, amen, sunshine. I love it. Thank you so much. So energetically, what can we do to fix? Can we fix any of this, or is this just how it is? Miss Kelly Lollery from our On Tribe Australia says, yes, I've been in this experience. I've had the experience of this with a business partner. Every meeting I'd come away low in energy and feeling just so low. So 100%, you guys are picking up on the voiding. It's called negative void energy. And you're picking up on it. I have been around terrible fights and the energy just drops. I want you to think of this. Energy is like a number line. So I want you to think 0 as neutral. Then we have the negative integers over here. We have positive over here. If you start to judge every experience on this number line, whether it's yours or someone else's, how is it affecting your energy? I started doing this about 8 years ago, and I really, really got a big dose of this teaching again when Mr. Sunshine had his heart attack, and all the energy that was around me from people's comments and the doctors and being in places where everybody was so sick and just trying to do the recovery process. It was a lot. And I started judging the energy line. Even if someone and I got in a disagreement or a conflict situation, I would just, if my energy dropped below 3 on the negative energy line, I immediately said, I cannot commit my energy to this any further. We need to just talk about this later, or you can write me and I will process it. But when your energy drops below a 3, which means you're not neutral, you're really starting to get revved up either to cry or to lose your energy or to, fight with somebody, or you're about to lose your peace. You're about to give away your centeredness. This is where we need to call it at that point and say, I cannot commit my energy to this anymore or at this time. Sometimes it is anymore. You're just done with the job. You're done with the relationship, whatever. Sometimes it's just right now. I'm not going to commit my energy to this right now. Julie says, I just pull a bubble around me and put a big smile on my face. Miss Laura Capello says, I'm always bubbling, sunshine. It's bubbling time. Sayla says it's a lot of work when you're around negative energy at work. And if you work in the public, for sure, 100%, Miss Sayla. So I have some ideas for you. Energetic cords are made inadvertently with people every day. Now, let's talk about the energy cords with people that we are aware of. This would be spouse, especially spouse. So this is a part of the video you may not want to share with youngsters. I will be talking about adult subjects. So I'm going to give everybody a minute to put earbuds in or mute, because I know that the One Tribe is a family-friendly show. So this part of the show is going to be talking about some adult subject matter. So if you have children watching now or even in the future on this replay, please give us a minute to kind of mute anybody that's under about the age of 13. I would say this is about a 13 and up conversation. Some people would say 11. I guess it depends on where your child is at. But I'm going to be talking about adult matters, so I'm just going to give it a minute. Now, energy cords that are made from parent to children. Parent to children. I'm just giving everybody a minute. So parent to children conversations. Parents will always attach energetic cords to you. And this is what we're doing when we're actually cutting those cords. When we're growing up at 8 years old, we learn how to be accountable for our decisions. The very beginning of our accountability is 8 years old. That's the age of accountability. Baptisms can happen at 8 years old. I prefer to wait, but they absolutely can happen, because a child is able to make a conscious decision about choosing just good over evil, or, self over the greater good. They're just beginning those concepts. Then at 18, we're trying to totally break the energetic cords that our mother has put on us and break away from those ambiotic bands, basically, so we can become our own person and we can get our autonomy. Then at 28, most people begin to pull away from the partnership that they formed. And 28 is a time of self-realization. It's like realizing our partner, or partnerization is in our 20s. We figure out who we want to partner with for work. Who do we want to partner with for procreation? A lot of us are beginning to get into that part. And then we have 38. 38 is the age of spiritual awakening. I've rarely ever seen adults truly awaken before the age of 36 is the beginning of that process. 37 is a breaking away at every age. So 7 is really where kids change their personality from this sweet little angel into this child with their own thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Then we have 17-year-olds start changing and pulling deeply away, getting rebellious. 18 is when they want to become their own person. They don't want to be an extension of you. 27 is when a lot of relationships and careers begin to break down for the first time. They're like not sure if this is really what they wanted. They're questioning things. 28 is the rebuilding of their self. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? On the outside, 28 to 38 or 37 is all about making moves. It's about the physical worlds. It's about like, what car do I drive? What house do I want? What size dress do I want to wear? So we're moving into this time of 28 to 38. And then from 36, most people kind of find the careers they lose interest and purpose in life in their 30s. They start questioning their religion, their marriages, their choices in careers and jobs. And they're doing it on a different spiritual internal level. They have all the stuff they want externally, but they're not happy and satisfied with it. So they begin the process of spiritual awakening in their 30s. So 36, 38 tends to be the universal age of awakening. And 35 to 38, I work with a lot of people for their independent spiritual needs. And then 48 is where we start turning back to do the work we need to do for others. So 48 is the dimension of mastering what you've learned in your 30s, and then extending that out. Who do I want to be for others? And then 58 is the age of looking at all of the waves you've made and being able to enjoy some of the fruits of your labor. You've planted a lot of trees, which can be children, grandchildren. You've done a lot of work, which can be degrees and diplomas. Maybe you started businesses and now you're watching them grow. So these are expansions of ourselves, okay? Now, energetic cords. We start to build energetic cords anytime we have sex with somebody. That's what I was waiting on. Sexual contact and intercourse of any kind, whether it is oral, whether it is full penetration, or just energetically sexually teasing with each other, will create energetic cords. Now, exactly, Miss Sandra, 62, 72, it's all about the love. It's all about the love, 100%. So sex is an energetic cord. Sex is so big, it can be that you can establish, if you talk to the person and you make connection, that's the third eye connection. If you speak from your heart and they trust and listen to you, you've made a connection through the throat. If you feel intense love for the person, you made a connection through the heart. And then if you give your body over to them, you've now made a sacral chakral connection, okay? The problem with having sex with different people, and I know this is probably not the audience for this conversation, because a lot of you are in a different age frame. So most of you are married and not necessarily sleeping around having one-night stands, but this is still such an important teaching. I think you should teach it to all of your children, grandchildren, friends, and family, whenever it's appropriate, age-appropriate conversation. Sex at all levels creates energetic cords. Even mutual masturbation from long distances apart can create energetic cords. It does not matter whether they're physically there or not. If you think about someone and you create a lot of sexual energy toward that person and you direct sexual energy toward gratification to that person, you're creating an energetic cord. I'm not even discussing just that if you're in a relationship with one person, but you're energetically sexually attracted to another, you are cheating. Of course you are. This is what Yeshua was teaching about when he said, if you looked with the eyes, you've lusted, you've already created cheating. They're like, I don't get that. It's because it's energy. What you look at, what you think about, there is your heart also, because there is your treasure, whatever it is. Energy is like this. It flows wherever attention goes. Energy flows where your attention goes. So stay focused on the soul, like really get back to yourself. And remember that everything in this world is a Maya. It's illusion. Everything in this world is illusionary to distract you from your true purpose. This is like a simulation. And we're all walking through a jungle. And then there's like tons of distractions. Every day for us is like walking through New York City and Times Square with someone trying to sell you something. It's constant distraction from the purpose of us being here together. We're all beings that are here to get through the illusions, through the Maya, through the distractions, and back to self so we can ascend and go back to source, okay? When you have sex with anybody, past, present, or future, you created an energetic cord with that person. Sometimes the cords will dissolve. Mostly when you cry, when you break up with someone, that is that energy cord shriveling up. If it's cut clean off because they cheated, your energy is still attracted to them, but their energy has moved on to another person. So now you have a cord running to them and their cords are running to someone else. So they're getting fed from both sides and you're getting deficit and the other person's getting more than enough energy. So think about this. You're the first person, you're a girl, and then you loved him. He ends up falling in love with his secretary. Let's just say, we're going to use this bad example. You energetically gave to him, he gave back to you. It was reciprocal. Now he's in love with another girl. So his energy flows outward. Your energy is just flowing away from you. So you're at a deficit of about 3 to 6. And sometimes the deficit can be like all the way to 10 because you're still making his food. doing his laundry, living in his house, taking care of his kids, trying like hell, going to the gym. You're doing everything you can do energetically to get this relationship back, but she's already blocked him off. So you can't connect another cord to him because energetically he's bubbled in her energy. So they've had sex or whatever's happened. So he's got a feminine bubble around him. And all women can tell if another woman has a bubble. It's not something we know here. It's something we feel. Men, same way. They'll know if another man has talked to you, thought about you, touched you, been near you, or you're turned on by another one. You guys know a million independent fights cannot be wrong where someone has accused someone of cheating or just, and it could have been a conversation. It could have been you laughing about something they never were there for, but they can feel that energy has shifted and it becomes very obvious because it's all energetic. If you're in a situation where you're giving energy to someone and they are not reciprocating, you need to cut the cord. This is like bleeding without a Band-Aid. If you have been in a relationship with someone, male or female, and they have left the relationship and you either feel intense anger, resentment, frustration, jealousy, or love, or regret, you need to cut the cord because you're still bleeding energy. It's like if I stuck a straw in the side of this, a tiny little coffee straw, it would eventually just drain out, but just drip by drip, I'd be just losing the water out of here. So no matter, and I want you to picture a drop or two going in every few minutes, but a drop or two going out every few minutes. This cup will never be full. And this is how most people are functioning in today's world because we don't have energetic teachings. We don't have enough energetic training to protect our energy. So, like I say, if I poke a little hole in this, tiny little hole, and then I'm just putting a drizzle or two in the top, of course it's going to keep draining out, draining out, draining out, okay? This is what it's like to be broken up with, to have someone leave you, cheat on you, lie to you, or someone that you trusted. Could be a best friend, could be an ex-husband, ex-partner. It could be a brother or sister, could be a friend, a boss, could really be anybody. There's no lack of the amount of people that it can be. But I want to say that this contributes greatly to problems within the energy field. So can we get some comments on this? What do you believe about this teaching and how are you feeling about this teaching? We want to get your comments for all those listening to this podcast into the future on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. What do you guys think about that? When you're thinking about your own life, where do you think that you have some energetic cords that really need to be cleaned up so you can practice good spiritual hygiene? Laura Capello says, wow, this is a great teaching, Sunshine. And Gracie Allen said, I wish I had this teaching years ago. I do too, Miss Gracie. Amen. Julie said, I always said people leave 3 months emotionally before they leave physically. Absolutely. Wherever the energy flows is because that's where the attention goes. And all of it has moved on before you moved on. So that energy cord is left leaking. That's why it's so very important to do cord cuttings. So, Sunshine, what can we do if we find that we have a cord? Some of the signs and symptoms that you have an energy cord is A, you're dreaming about the person. That is a very telltale sign that you have an emotional cord or an energetic cord intact. Number 2, thank you guys for the hearts. We have 6 hearts and thumbs up. I would hope that we all go to the bottom and just give this a nice shout out and thumbs up. Make sure you comment afterward and share this video with your family and friends, especially if you have young teenagers that are being taught sex is just kind of an easy thing and we don't need to make commitments and we definitely don't need to think about it. We can just do what feels good and not worry about it. You do need to worry about not only the physical ramifications, but the energetic cords. Think about everybody you've ever slept with and all of the people they slept with. And together, that is exactly how many cords are becoming attached to you energetically. So, how do we clear our energy, Sunshine? There's a couple ways. Number 1, if you're dreaming about somebody, you probably have an energetic cord. Number two, if you are thinking about this person and you're feeling their pain, like they just keep coming up in your everyday life, you cannot seem to get away from it. You just keep thinking about, what is their back pain? I wonder if they still smoke. I wonder how their mom is doing. And I don't just mean this is like a random thought every 6 months. This is like consistent. You have an energetic cord to them. If when you think about them, you cry, and I don't mean they passed on and you're grieving them. I mean, they're still alive, but they've moved on. But for some reason, it's still bringing you a great amount of tragedy or sadness. You definitely have an energy cord. Okay. If you think about this person, their name comes up and you're extremely angry, bitter, or jealous, this is an energetic cord. Okay. Cam says the energy cord process Sunshine teaches is so powerful. Some more work to do. Cam has done beautiful. Him and his beautiful wife, Miss Kelly, have done incredible cord cuttings with me. And they have done it through business associates. So believe it or not, business associates can definitely drain your energy because you're putting so much energetically together with them and partnering for a future vision. Anybody you have vision with, you're putting a lot of energy into them. And therefore, that can be a major energetic cord if they steal your ideas and go another way or scam you for money, or try to take over your company, or spread reputational lies or rumors. It can definitely create a very powerful negative energy cord. So we've talked a lot about positive energetic cords. Very important that we acknowledge all of the energy cords. So dreaming about them, thinking about them during the day, also feeling their physical pain. I had an energy cord with someone once. They had dentist work and I could feel the alcohol, and I didn't know they were having dental work. And this was an ex-best friend. And we hadn't talked. And I remember that I just kept thinking, God, why am I smelling alcohol and tasting this horrible taste of blood? And it turned out they were having dental work, and we were so close. We were like energetically partners at one time, even though it was a female. We were close, like wives would be, like sisters. We were so close. And even though we weren't talking anymore, our energies were still so connected. I was picking up on her dental work. So yes, you can have physical sensations of that other person. Thinking about this, negative energy cords, as I said, if you feel very angry or you want to cry when they come up, if you feel super bitter or feel the need to tell a story about them, or you feel the need to defend yourself from something they've said about you, this is definitely an energy cord. It means where there was once positive energy between you and this person, a nice clear cord, all of this sludge and all of this gunk has gotten between you and them. And this is what's in the cord now. It's not a healthy cord. This is why we need to cut the cord. We find it here in your body. We cut it off and we just drop all of this back to Mother Earth, and we let them heal and move away from you, and we clear your energy so that instead of having all of this gunk and sludge, yes, there's some good times and good memories in here. Think about all those, but all of this down is negative. Okay. This is a perfect example of an energetic cord. This is what it should look like when it's given positive light, love, and energy. But this is what it's reduced to, is thick sludge and nastiness. And all you have is a couple of these nice sparkly reminders of the good times, which you're not currently having anymore. Okay. So now that Cam has cut the cord, he says opportunities are now opening up massively. Yes, absolutely. Andrea says, and this is a great question, is it wrong to help family when they are hurting because of grief? Can they drain your energy? Absolutely, they can. Remember I said there's vines. Hello, Miss Angie from Facebook. Thank you for joining us. Armando, thank you so much. I love your comments. Make sure we use comments directed toward your experience with energetic cords. So she said, is it wrong to help family when they're hurting because of grief? Can they drain you? Two parts to that question. Number one, it is always good to help somebody if you can. Allah, God, gives us the ability to help others, meaning he puts us in the position, time, place, and strength to help others. But can others drain your energy? The answer is abso-freaking-lutely. And I say that as a minister, abso-freaking-lutely. Because remember, they're like a sinking ship. They're like the Kraken pulling you down into the sea of despair, their grief, their sadness, their neediness, their everything is pulling you down. But just like a little 2-liter bottle that's filled to the brim with air, they can't hold you down forever. So breathe and bubble. Breathe and bubble. When you need to be around negative people, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Hello, Miss Kathy Rath from Facebook. Thank you for being here. So grateful to have you in the One Tribe tonight on Spirit Uncensored. So energetically, when we're having dreams, we're thinking about that person, we have negative emotions around that person, we know that there's a cord that needs to be cut. Okay? That is a specific ceremony that I do with people to help them to learn to heal their energy. And yes, there is a way to do it. And I even right here have somebody's energetic cord cutting right here. So for somebody to get a cord cutting, do I need it? Sunshine, do you really need to do all this to cut the cord? Yeah, you kind of do. Do I have to have this healing angel on there? No, I just love healing angels. So I put that on my client's paper, and I have multiples of these that go up there. But this one right here is one that I did for a client. And we did this together. I'm not going to show the details of it, but this is a past, present, and future. This was where we declare and decree the cord is cut. And there's different requirements that have to be made to be able to cut the cord with somebody. Number one, they have angels, guides, and loved ones, just like you have angels, guides, and loved ones. And so to cut a cord, it's not just as easy as saying, oh, I cut the cord and I take a silver sword. I know a lot of people teach that and they would be erroneous, and that's why it rarely ever works. And I'm not knocking the spiritual practice of other people. If it works for them, great. But 90% of my clients that have done a cord cutting with me have already done it with someone else beforehand. And that's the reason why. This is the example I had. This is the energy of a bad cord. This is the energy of a good cord. Which one do you want? That's thick with sludge and nastiness. And this is nice and clean, filled with the white light. This is what we want to do. We're purifying our energies when we do cord cuttings. The cords, Kelly Laurie from Australia says, the cords from someone who I've had an 11-year relationship with. I didn't need to sleep with him, but wow, my energy went from 3 negative to a 10, off the charts energy when she did her cord cutting. Yeah, we did cord cuttings between her and this ex-business partner. Cam also had some people he needed to cut the cords with, and you could just see all of their energy flowing back into them. So instead of wasting 20, 30, 40, 50% of their energy on these relationships, they were able to free flow their energy back into themselves, recycle it into something positive that they wanted to get out of their life. Cord cuttings are a process. You can book them on my website. I'm going to have a certification class for this coming up next year in the Spiritual Academy. Illuminated Universe will have a catalog, and you can choose some classes to choose from so you can do these cord cuttings for yourself, and then there'll be one to do it for others. But you could always book one with me, and I'll walk you through the process, and once I teach it to you, you'll have that information to repeat the process for yourself if you would like. I can tell you honestly, I could not do it for myself. I had to have a coach walk me through it. And with my ex and me, I had to do it 16 times before it stuck because I kept seeing him. I kept seeing social media. I kept having to talk to him because of our children. It was very difficult to cut the cord. It took me 16 times before. And it was because I didn't know all of this. This was channeled information that I had to get as to why I couldn't keep that cord from reconnecting. And they said, because you didn't meet all the requirements to cease and desist the contract that you had with this person. So you and a person may break up, but you had a spiritual contract with them. Just because you break up does not mean the cord goes away. Two of you could be in a relationship, whether it's work or marriage, and one of you could leave, The other person's energy is still being enacted upon by that spiritual contract. Even though they left, they're still stuck in that spiritual contract. So this is why I do a cord cutting, so that I can give you back your energy. But I can't just go and cut the cord either. There's requirements that the spiritual laws say must be met to cut a cord. This is why I do them as a practice. I do professional cord cuttings with people. Once you learn how to do it, you can do it for yourself. Or I can guide you again to do it, or somebody else can help you that's been trained in it. My spirit knows tonight is off the charts. All right. Let's see. Armando San Miguel has something to say out of Beaumont, Texas. I believe that my own personal memories from experience during my grief process kept my loved ones tethered to my energy because I was selfish at that time. I'm so glad I learned how to be selfless. Thank you, Armando. Yeah, we're not talking so much about spiritual beings like ghosts and those, but we are talking about energetically letting someone's energy go. When someone dies, they've already cut the cord to you. Even though you're trying to hang on to them, you're not attached to the physical world. So it's a different type of cord. You don't need to cut the cord when someone dies. If you're hanging on to them, you can just slowly let go and you don't have to do a cord cutting. These are for physical beings that are still in the physical worlds. But yes, you can definitely get a cord cutting at sunshinefrost.com. And as I said, when the Illuminated Universe library comes out through the Spiritual Academy, we'll have a class on this. And I'm excited to see how many of you attend this class, because I know people love to know how to do the cord cuttings properly. But the universe has everybody that's came into your life, you have a soul contract with, unless they're even a one-night stand. You didn't have a soul contract, but you created a soul tie. If you have a marriage with somebody, you definitely have a cord cutting to do, because now you have a contract, nobody's acting on it, and that needs to be cut and destroyed. I love what Armando said about letting that person go, but that's a grief process that everybody has to come about in their own time. But you don't have to cut the cord. It's about letting go of that energy. Everybody has to do it, and sometimes we don't want to. It isn't quite the same as a cord cutting. This is really like for health and wellness with a living person. And that's so important. And we will talk about grief and how to handle some of your grief, like Armando was demonstrating in that. We'll get to some of those conversations about grief and how to deal with the loss of a loved one. Okay. Now, we've talked about somebody in business. We've talked about someone we didn't like, or someone that we loved. All of them need to be cut because it needs to preserve your own energy. You only get so much energy per day. And if you have somebody that's draining your energy, you're not going to be able to be functioning in 70% or higher. And from what I understand from spirit and manifestation in my own life, it takes at least 70% of your energy and above to manifest your dreams, wishes, and desires. Think about that. If it takes 70% of our energy and above to manifest our desires, that's the reason why so many people want and want and want, but aren't getting the results they want, because there's so many energetic cords attached to them. So we have to think about what we want to detach from. It can be a negative person, place, or thing. And yes, even in a marriage, you can cut the cord. I had to cut the cord with my husband in July of this year, right about July 30th, because he had had so many physical problems, and the healing I was doing on him, his energy was so low as he was recovering from a near-death experience and had multiple levels of sickness and illness. And what happened was he actually was backflowing his negative energy into me. And that's not his fault. That was me as the healer, just being so close to him, holding his hand. I began to manifest all of his physical symptoms: chest pain. I got 4 gastric ulcers. I got joint pain when he got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. I literally picked up all of his fatigue, his joint pain, all of his, even his depression was starting to affect me. I had to fully do a total cord cutting as if it was another person And then we've had to work to reestablish a new cord. So even in a husband-wife relationship, if there's too much negativity, you find that you're bickering all the time, you can't feel positive, seems like there's just negativity every day, cord cutting is absolutely the way to cut and get rid of this. And then what you need to do is establish a new cord with that person. So to reestablish the new cord, you will need 21 days. So it's 7 days of love and light without arguing, then 7 days to reestablish energy, like spending some time or talking each day. And then we need 7 days of physical contact if we can get it. If not, we just need good acts of service. So we're reestablishing the new cord. It works. Even if you only have 7 days to reestablish it, you can do it. 21 is ideal, but 7 days is what you need to reestablish the new cord. Okay. So very important. You can cut the cord to adult children. I had a situation with my son where he was being very negative and kind of abusive, I felt, because he was going through a difficult time in his 20s. And I had to actually cut the cord with him and then work to give him a few months off, and we reestablished a very healthy, good cord, and we have a great relationship now. So yes, you can do it, not with children. You never ever cut the cord with minor children. No matter how negative or draining you have a minor child, we don't cut the cord with them because they need our energy. So we can clean the cord with white light, but we never cut it with the child's. Okay. Parent-child cords should never be cut unless that child is an adult, meaning 21 or over. I wouldn't even suggest this at 17, 18, 19, 20. I think children do not really mature until 21 is just the beginning of that prefrontal cortex, developmental self-control, impulse control, and regulation of their emotions and modulation of behavior. So I would not recommend ever cutting the cord with anybody under 21. If they're a child, any of that. So never cut the cord with a child. It can damage them emotionally and energetically, be very difficult to reconnect to them. They may not allow you to. They may lose trust with you. So even if you're having negativity with a child or a foster child or a difficult, just never cut the cord with a child. I just want to say that over and over. With a spouse, cut the cord if you are having a lot of negativity or they're very sick, but do it with the intention of creating a new cord. So in this, when we would say, I declare and decree all contracts, past, present, and future, and in all timelines are dissolved, and you have to say, I no longer want anymore, we would say, these contracts are dissolved, and we seek to establish a new cord. So in that decree, we would write it differently, okay? So Armando says, so our connection that is established with loved ones can hinder our health. Yeah, you can. If you're with somebody that has a lot of sickness and disabilities, you can pick those up for yourself. You'll start to pick up their pain, their headaches, their this and that, everything. So I did have to cut the cord with my son when he was in his 20s. But again, Selah says brains are still developing until at least 21 to 25. I agree. But if you're struggling, like if you're a rejected parent, and you're an isolated mother, you've done all that you can, and now the children have turned on you, and it's just so emotionally painful. And I'm actually going to do a whole session on this parental alienation syndrome and what it does to a mother and a father, especially the moms that go through this. It's so painful. I'm going to talk about the cord cuttings that I would recommend and the spiritual healings that I would recommend. Cord cutting is not enough. We need to cut the negative cord, and then we need to heal the mother from the inside where the maternal wound is. And then we seek to establish a healthy cord with the child at any age, okay? So it is good to know. Armando says, I learned something new. Once again, my mind is blown. Gracie said, yes, you told me I can do it with my adult daughter. I'm excited to try. Selah says, yes, 7 days of positivity, connection, love, light, and prayers. I do want to say that if you do not have that person physically with you, you can do an intercessory prayer with their picture. So with my son, I had a physical handprint of his because we had done these hand molds when he was here at Christmas. So I could pray with his hand when he's in the military. I wanted to be able to pray for him. So I would take his hand in mine, the mold, And when I was reestablishing the new cord, I would pray for put my hand on his hand and pray every night and light a candle and say, I seek to establish positivity in the white light. And I did this whole little script. I'm not giving it here, but that's the extent of it. And I would reestablish the new cord. Another way to do things when you go to places like DMV or somewhere where there's a lot of negative energy, we want to make sure that we bubble ourselves. And it's very simple to bubble. I always think of the rainbow ribbon, like Angelina Ballerina. We just want to go around the energy, just like a candy cane or like a barber pole for the gentleman in the room. And we want to say, in the white lights, I say, in the white light of Jesus Christ and the holy angels, I'm protected by day, by night. But you can say, in the white light, I am protected by day, protected by night. I always use Jesus as a high ascended master, teacher, and example. So I always say, in the white light of Yeshua or Jesus Christ by day and by night. And I bubble myself. You can just do a big bubble like Hubba Bubba and bubble yourself in white light. And then when you go into a place and you can feel somebody poking on your bubble, push them away. That's all you're going to do. Push them away. Now, Julie has a great question. When we cut the cord, does that person feel a pull away from us? Yes, 100%. Great question. When I cut the cord with my clients, and I've done this thousands of times at this point, and it's actually one of the most important, I would say everything I do is important, but cord cutting is so meaningful because when I see a client stuck, I know that they have an energetic cord. I know it. It's science. It's the way it is. How far can you get if you had an extension cord? How far can you get from the extension cord if you're a fan or we're all energetic. And so we have cords that are not allowing us to move past a certain point because we can't get past it. That's how it is. It's like being wrapped in the rope and you can't get any further. You can't get any extra foot out of it. So we need to cut the cord. When I have had people cut the cord with exes, the ex almost immediately the ex will reach out to them. And they're like, no, we don't talk anymore. He dumped me. He ditched me. He cheated on me. Or she and I don't talk anymore. I say, well, you just cut the cord and now you're not feeding her energy. Let's see how quickly she reaches out. And hundreds of times I receive emails, I receive text messages or phone calls. Oh my God, sunshine. She literally reached out to me within an hour of our cord cutting and asked, what am I doing? Or how am I doing? Or am I okay? I said, yeah, because you've been feeding her energy for years. You've been regretting the breakup. You've been blaming yourself that your kids don't like you. You've been blaming whatever. You've blamed yourself. And in doing so, your regret, your remorse, your sadness, your heartbrokenness has been feeding them energy. So, of course, you're draining while they're receiving. And what happens is when you cut that cord off, they go, oh, wait, I wanted to feel good. I wanted to have all that extra energy. And they don't have your extra 30%, 50% energy. You're getting it back. It takes you a little longer, about 72 hours. That's why when I do a cord cutting, I actually keep this on my desk and I keep it for 3 days. And then I roll it up as a little scroll and I'll stick it in my drawer in case somebody needs me to repeat the process. I typically do 2 cord cuttings with the same person unless we don't need to. And it works, it works the first time, but sometimes people will reattach. And so I always try to keep that scroll there in case they call me back in the first 3 months. And I say, let's do it again. So let's see what we have to say here. Armando San Miguel out of Beaumont says, got all 6 adults watching from the big TV and everyone is very interested and so involved in your teachings tonight. Wow. Well, thank you so much for reminding me, Armando, that yes, since we are on YouTube, everybody can be streaming to their smart television or any smart streaming device right now. So I recommend everybody watch these repeats on their television while you're folding laundry, cleaning the house, working on the car, or even just listening while you're at work. Don't watch the video, just listen to the audio. Thank you so much, Armando, for that reminder. Armando says, I know, right? So deep and very valuable teachings tonight. Alicia says, are there cord cuttings for bad health too? We don't cut the cords for people with bad health. However, I do a lot of healing sessions when I go into the chakra system and I see where that energy is stuck. And just like all of the ancient traditions, which is the Indian, the Vedic, the Pranic, and the Chi, all of the ancient Eastern religions knew that the mind-body connection affects so deeply our health and our well-being that they taught us about the energy meridians, the energy chakras all over the body as energy points. And so I look at where the energy is stuck. And then what we do is we cut the cord, not from somebody else, but for you, yourself, to whatever experience caused it to be stuck. I see this mostly in the past lives. Past life and early childhood traumas are what stick energy and allow diseases and stuff to develop unless it's a spiritual contract. Some people do take on terrible illnesses as part of their contract, but I do those sessions, and so we can find that out. That's part of the coaching and the healing that we do in the One Tribe. Thank you so much. Miss Andrea says, spiritual coaching, healing, and teaching, counseling at sunshinefrost.com. Yes, I am a spiritual counselor and healer, and so we work. And satisfaction is guaranteed. Yes, I agree with that. I have had the privilege of working with thousands of people, and it's been such a beautiful experience. I even coach in large groups. Energy is everywhere, and I'm an energy coach. So I work with people, teaching them about the fundamentals of energy. So bubbling yourself in any place you feel uncomfortable or overwhelmed with energy, or even before you leave your house. We'll do a whole nother live on spiritual protection. But tonight was specifically, can energy attach without your permission? Yes. If the energy, now it attaches to you like cobwebs, but if it's going to attach to you like a vine, it does need your permission. That's why not having sex with someone you don't know well, not agreeing, making agreements or commitments to somebody that you don't know well, not giving too much energy to people that you're getting involved with a situation that doesn't really concern you. Someone brings you in and they're like, oh, my ex did this and that, and they're getting you into this story and you're taking sides, you're giving it tons of energy. That can be a cord. So just be weary and be aware and alert of what are you giving your energy to, and is it serving your highest good? I'm not saying be selfish, but I'd rather see you give energy to a sick person, a needy elderly person, volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club, volunteer with a child, foster a child, be somebody's friend, and help somebody than to be taken advantage of just for your energy to be pirated for their higher good. Okay. Kelly Lowry says, since my cord cuttings, my business partner, my daughter's lives have changed. Is it that our fan is connected and my lightness has an effect on them? Yeah, you're absolutely. When you heal yourself, you heal all the timelines in front of you. So your children are directly connected to your energies, and to what you heal as a mother, you heal them into the future. That's why we declare and decree that all contracts are null and void and healed in all timelines. And by doing so, we're actually totally shifting the reality for our children as well. When I healed the cords for myself from abuse, addiction, incest, and everything I had went through, I healed that for them in the future timelines as well. So that's so important that when we heal, we're healing all timelines for ourselves, our past, present, and the future, which is our children and grandchildren. So it says, could our children, Armando San Miguel asks, could our children have energetic connections from school? Yes, we get them from our jobs. Children pick them up at school. We can get them just from being in any atmosphere where there's other humans. And actually, we get energy even from the ground, the plants, the trees, and the animals. But those energies are called positive ionic interchange. So when you step on the grass, go in the water, any of that, you have positive interchange. But when you're with humans, you can pick up human emotions, which can be the 7 deadly sins, like Mary Magdalene taught, or you can pick up just negative and positive vibes from people. So just be careful what you give your energy to. Now we're just about at time, so if you feel like one of these cord cuttings would help you, I totally recommend booking one at sunshinefrost.com. And if you'd like to know more about it, I will have some classes available on my website, the same one at sunshinefrost.com. Alicia asked in closing, when do you cut cords? Can you do more than one cutting or just each time? So I recommend a process for each and every person, although I have done up to 3 in one session because they were related. I had a woman that had been married to a man who had 2 teenage daughters that she had taken care of, excuse me, for about 7 years. And the daughters were kind of always sabotaging her relationship with the father. They had always truly wanted their mother to be with their father. And so they had went out of their way to really disparage the stepmother. And when she divorced, she was devastated because she never really wanted the divorce, but it happened. And these 2 daughters were just brutal in attacking her character and attacking her daughter. And it was just so ugly and low vibrational that I did a cord cutting for the ex-husband and his 2 daughters. So I cleared it for all of them so that she could move forward in her life and start to accept love and have love and stop accepting these old things that were causing her so much pain. So in that situation, I did a cord cutting, which was one session, and then we went in and we healed the heart chakra and the throat chakra where she couldn't speak her truth. We worked on healing the heart with forgiveness. And then we did 2 healings. The throat and the heart was first, and then we did the solar plexus and the sacral, which was her sadness over not having children with him, and also her courage. She was never able to speak out against these daughters because she always tried to let them win to keep the father happy. So yeah, we ended up doing a cord cutting with her and then 2 healing sessions. And she's a brand new person. She is remarried. She has a little baby boy that she never thought she would have. She had been infertile, and I believe it's because she had a blockage in that sacral chakra. And when we healed that, we healed it in all timelines, and she got pregnant with unassisted, infertility just went away. It was amazing. So I hope this really brings you into some alignment with what you believe and how energy cords are formed. So remember, good spiritual practice. I will say, you guys know, in the One Tribe, I cover my head to pray. I pray every single night, and something that I do is bubble and I cut the cords. Once the cord cutting is done, I will give you good spiritual hygiene tips for how to keep those cords off of you. You want to be slick like a duck. You want everything to roll off of you. So bubble, bind, and protect in the white light. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Please remember that all of our comments and watching and sharing helps this little baby channel to just continue to grow around the world so we can help people. If you feel like this has helped you, please let us know in the comments below. The live comments will not be shown in the commentary, only those that have been flashed on the screen. So thank you so much for allowing us to be here. And thank you so much for joining us for this beautiful teaching. It's been my pleasure to teach about cord cuttings. And again, if you want some help from me, you can always reach out. Again, watch the channel, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys on Friday where we do some more beautiful teachings. Friday is going to be a beautiful night. We'll start at 6:30 Pacific time, and I will see you all there. Thank you so much. And until I see you again, remember that you are God's expression of love on the planet. So please be kind.